Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. KG is back. This is your match preview for Nottingham Forest versus Leeds United, and it is indeed a must-win game, people. Before we get into it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to. In fact, who cares at this point? Just like the video, that helps the channel out more than anything. And of course, drop your thoughts, comments, score predictions, and lineup predictions in the comment box as well. David in the house, afternoon KG, I caught alive. You certainly have, my friend. You certainly have. And I will be back live. That video is already up for the match reaction. So join me after the game, win, lose, or draw, and we'll talk about all the talking points from the game tomorrow. I've come on after the West Ham Burnley game just to see at the state of play that we're in. And their result, I don't know if that's ideal for us. I'm not going to lie. I think the best result for this one would have been a 1-1 draw, or 1-1. Could have been a 4-4 draw. Who cares? Was a draw, right? This now means that West Ham, even though the score hasn't updated on the table for whatever reason, they are now 1 point behind us, man. And if there's one team that you can see below us that jumps above us, it will be West Ham with the talent that they have in their team. Don't think they're going to be spectacular, but will they have enough in their arsenal to get out of it? Possibly so, people. So this was not a great result. We now, you know what I will say though, for the neutral, for the Premier League, it's quite exciting. It's quite exciting to see so many teams, because Fulham have lost against Everton today. It's quite exciting for all these teams to see, you know, a rat race at the bottom. But at some point, things are going to start to separate, man. Things are going to start to look a little bit clearer. But at this point, it's very exciting, isn't it? But I would love us to have been looking down on this bottom half of the table and going, oh, bye. You know, Sunderland, Arsenal's up next tonight. I will be watching that, of course. And you just wish that we was in one of those positions so that this game wasn't such a must-win game. But it is because of the results we've had. Hyrie saying West Ham will stay up. I'll put my money on that. I think so as well. I know. Michael saying, agreed. I didn't like the West Ham result. Shows how bad we were to lose to Burnley. Yeah, that kind of result doesn't help, does it? HM, yeah, super sticker. Thank you so much, my man. Thank you so much. Yep, squeaky bum time. Absolutely. Zaya here saying a bit worried about this one. Zaya, from your comments, you're always worried. I only ever see you where you are worried, Zaya. I don't think I've ever seen you where you're happy. But I understand what you're saying, because there is concern, you know, with our away performances, our away results. Forest and Daishi was talking recently. Well, he spoke straight after their 0-0 draw in Europe. They made changes for that game, but he was talking about how he wants to keep the Forest fans on side, give them entertaining football, but also keeping the principles of Sean Dyche football, which is being defensively sound. And he said with the atmosphere, Nottingham Forest, Leeds United, it's going to be one where he wants to get the fans up, so he wants to give them something to cheer. So you just think, wow, I hope this isn't the game where he's going to start to let them express themselves a bit more. Well, Hudson-Odoi will be missing for that one. Chris Wood will be missing for that. But Elliot Anderson, I think, will be back in. I think he didn't play in that game, just as a precaution, as it says in the notes. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, it was going to be a tough game anyway with Sean Dyche. But the way we've played away from home, people, has not been good. In terms of just, you know, the Wolves away was a good result, but in every other game we haven't scored a goal, people. So that is something that is going to have to change if we are going to get up this table and stay out of the bottom three long term. You know, Daniel Farke in his press conference was talking about not being in it is a good thing, and he's correct with that. Will it be a bad thing if we do go into it? He thinks not, and obviously he's got to say that. I don't think it would do him any favors if he said, yeah, listen, once we're in the bottom three, we're cooked. But I do think that if we go into the bottom three at some point, I think it's going to be very difficult for us to get out of it. Not just because of the way we're playing and our results, but for teams around us. You know, Fulham are ones again who are in and around us, but I still expect Fulham to eventually get out of it. Maybe they finish 15th in the league. They won't care at this point. I just don't know if they're going to drop into the bottom three at any point. So coming back saying the only time you'll find me not worrying is when we've won. Don't care how it happens as long as we get 3 points. That's where we are, though. That's how we've got to be. But we do need to change something away from home. That's evident. And I mentioned it in yesterday's presser reaction video. But with Joe Rodon saying what he said and Danny Farke saying what he said, you can already see there's 2 different ideologies of how we've played so far away from home. Daniel Farke thinks we've been brave. He thinks that we've done enough. You know, we have had chances. He thinks that the players should be more clinical. I agree. But when you sign players that aren't clinical, what can you expect? But that's a whole other point. But Joe Rodon believes that they should be more brave going forward. And he's talking about instances where you do see our striker, whether it's Calvert-Lewin or Metcher, when he gets on the pitch, be completely isolated up front, which you can't have in a team like this. You know, when we've got strikers, the ones that we have, we need our wingers to be overlapping them. We need them to be making runs to make their hold up play look better than it actually looks at this point in time. Because at the moment, there's very little fruit coming from the strikers, very little. And I think some of you are going to hate some of the changes I'm going to make. But guys, this is what we're left with. And someone left a comment yesterday saying, you know what, we need to go two up front. I agree with that part, but we're not going to see it under Danny Farke, so forget about it. But he said, put DCL and Metro up front. Tear almost rolled down my eye, knowing that this is the reality of Leeds United in the Premier League. Metro and DCL as options to play up front for this football club. It's crazy. It's crazy. Michael saying here, Farke is naturally cautious as a manager when it comes to Leeds. Yeah, he is. He is. But what I will give him credit for that is that he understands the talent level of the squad. And that is something that he's not hidden away from when before the transfer window closed and after. He said, individually, this is not a good team, but collectively as a team, we can work together to stay up. I agree with that. That's how it's going to have to be done. There's not a lot of individual quality here. When we're talking Okafor, he's probably the one. Nonto, and we'll get into that in a bit, couldn't be the other. There's no one else. Anton Stack, and we'll speak about that in a bit as well. He can be a driving force in midfield, but we have very little. And this is the thing as well with this team. And I've said on many videos, this team has to perform at least a 7 or 8 out of 10 in every game in order to get something out of it. You've seen when we've dropped below that, even at a 6, we will get beat. And take the Burnley game, never mind any of the other games. Take the Burnley game. We didn't turn up properly. Burnley had their way with us and beat us 2-0. It was one of those gritty performances where Burnley didn't have to do too much and they won the game. That's because we weren't at our 7 to 8 out of 10 best in that game. That's what we have in this squad. We don't have players where there's 1 or 2 that can have a 6 out of 10 and we can get away with it. Nearly every one of these players has to be on it. Otherwise, we're going to collapse. That's just how it is. Yeah. What's that one saying here? SM saying we could. Yeah, Ryan. I know it's crazy, man. 2 free transfers starting up front. And the thing is, there's caveats to that. There's qualifiers for that. If you get Mbappe on a free, then it's a different thing. But we certainly didn't get Mbappe, did we? But look, this is going to be a tough game regardless, people. And I'm going to go with this. Hold on, before we get into that, Nidar here, I'd honestly be happy if we sold all our strikers and bought in 2 capable of doing something in the Premier League. Oh, absolutely. But I've said before, this club doesn't like to rectify mistakes very quickly. They don't. You know, if they were doing it properly, they would try their best to move out Metro in the January window, send him on loan where he should be gone, and find a real number 1 over Calvert-Lewin. They would. But they're not going to do that. What they're going to keep on doing is giving away Calvert-Lewin shirts in a raffle in for charity, because that's the way the football club's been run. And unfortunately, it seeps into the fan base where they start to accept mediocrity. I see it all the time. Oh, Calvert-Lewin, he's doing this, he's doing that. No, he has had chances. And Daniel Farke himself said that in the press conference, that if Calvert-Lewin could have put that one away, it's true. He's not going to get 7-8 opportunities for Leeds United in the Premier League. That's not happening. So when he does get an opportunity, he's got to make the most of it, and he hasn't done. But what I wish this football club would do, and I've mentioned the example before about Wolves, they signed somebody in the summer window for like 45 million. It was not working out, and they sent him out on loan the very next January transfer window. We're never going to do anything like that at this football club. Won't happen. I'd be stunned if that happens. I would be stunned if Metcha is gone in the January transfer window because they realize he's nowhere near the level of a Premier League, never mind Championship striker. He's not even there. He's nowhere near it. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Russ saying here, DCL isn't scoring. That's what we got him for, goals win games. Yeah. And I mean, Farke's comments as well about not caring about what the attackers' goals and assists are. That's shocking to me. You know, and again, that just seeps in the mediocrity of what this football club has become over the last few years. You'll see in general, there's a lot more people accepting of mediocrity because it's comfortable than when I talk about trying to be ambitious for this football club. People are scared of it. They're scared of getting out the comfort zone, of possibly signing players that maybe they don't like on a personal level, but will get the job done on the pitch. They would rather have a safe football club where they like all the players and everything else like that, who probably aren't talented to wear the badge of Leeds United because it's comfortable. And that kind of comment from your manager is it's appalling to me. You can go. No one's going to say you're going to beat Haaland for a golden boot, but you can get someone close in the bottom half of the table to be a top scorer. Of course you can. To say that we're not trying to go for the golden boot and saying all of this, and this goes to the game tomorrow. If we lose this game tomorrow and we're hearing the same rhetoric after about, yes, we had more possession and more chances, and that's crazy talk to me, because he said it again in the pre-match press conference about having more possession than who did we play last and lose to? Brighton. We lost to them. But what he didn't mention is that the most of the possession we had was passed around our midfield and our defense. That's what he didn't mention. See, stats, you can use stats any way you want. And the fact that we had 2-3% more possession than Brighton, and also they let us have the ball because they knew we weren't going to do anything with it. Yeah, newly promoted side. He said it about 5 times yesterday. It doesn't wash for me when we see Sunderland. Sorry, it will always be the counter to that. Adam saying here, I think DCL type is passable if you have a competent goal scorers in other forward positions. We don't have that, so a goal scoring 9 is an absolute necessity. Adam, you're on the money. You're absolutely on the money. So if anyone thought bringing in DCL and he was going to score 10 to 11 goals, you're crazy, because he hasn't done that in previous years. What you're seeing from DCL is literally him over the last few years. That's what he does. He did it for Everton. He does all of that hustle and bustle up front. But when it comes to striking, especially with his feet, he's shocking. So that's why you need to give it to him in the air. Whoa, that's crazy. But you need to give him the supply line in the air so he can at least head it. That's his strength. And at that point, and I'll be fair to him, we're not playing to his strengths completely. But he also has to realize that when you do get an opportunity as our focal point up front, you've got to take it, man. And he hasn't been doing that, which is shooting percentage said so. But yeah, I absolutely agree with that. If we have 2 goal scoring wingers, DCL probably looks lovely in this kind of system, but we don't. So yeah. Yeah, I know, Russ. I'm with you, man. Let's face it, we're all sick of stating it. We've literally got nothing up top. We don't. And that's why people will probably shout at me for the lineup I'm going to put out there. But guys, what else can we do? Some of the things that we're doing at this point in time is not working. Something needs to change, especially in the forward line, to get a bit more connectivity with our wingers and our striker. SM, just keeping it going there. Get rid of the manager. I hear you. Jack, yeah, Harrison, just there, isn't he? I've mentioned on a couple of videos. I keep forgetting to mention him because he's just forgettable. He's irrelevant. He comes on, he does nothing, but there's a comfort with players like Jack Harrison where they can just be just regular, just do nothing and get away with it. Whereas I'm keep speaking about DCL. It's probably unfair on DCL, but because he's our striker, our main guy, who at this point isn't getting dropped unless he's injured, he is going to get more of the brunt. But Jack Harrison can also be equally, it can be applied to him for being useless and collecting a very fair wage for it as well. Anticipating this lineup. Well, here we are, because this is what I would do. Sometimes, me, sometimes I like to mix up the lineups and say, this is what I think Farke's going to do. This is what I would do completely. But with the options we've got available and in the Farke system, this is what I would do, people. And it's probably nothing too shocking at the back. I would stick with the back 5 as it is. I wouldn't bring back in Strauch after one bad Biol performance. It's going to be interesting to see if that is the case, though, because we did concede 3 goals. There's no escaping that. It will be very interesting to see if Biol is the casualty and Strauch is brought back. And I think that would say a lot. Okay. Going in the midfield. Okay. We may have some disagreements with this, but I'll explain my stance. And like I say, put your thoughts in the comments. It's all good. We're just chatting here. We're just chatting. Lewis, you're going to get it. All right. You're going to get it. But I would go with the midfield 3 that started the season in Stack, Ampadu, and Tanaka. Some would probably take out Ampadu, but I don't think that's going to happen. And just for the base of how I've got the rest of the lineup, Ampadu makes sense in there for me for being that pure defensive midfielder in there. If Stack is fit and ready to go, he has to come back in just to give us that midfield driving force. Now, if he's fully fit, if he's still got anything wrong with his ribs, keep him on the bench and put Longstaff in there. And for me, Tanaka, just for his technical ability in the middle of the park against the Elliot Anderson and all these guys for Forest, I'm putting him in as well. Longstaff can go to the bench. He has been okay. I'm being generous with okay. He hasn't been that good in the outfield, and the set pieces aren't landing like they used to. So in this case, put Stack back on them for a bit and see how we go with that. But this would be my midfield three. Someone said Gruev. Not for me. Not for me. I think Gruev is fine where he is on the bench at this point. I agree with this though, Vega. Captain does need to pick it up. And I said it in the last game as well. I thought he started off so sloppily. He was giving away passes. He wasn't getting back properly. But as the game went on in the second half, he did improve. He was one that did improve in the second half. So yeah, that's why he keeps the spot for me. But I agree, he does need to step it up because his performances have fallen off a little bit as well. Darren's saying also he doesn't mind dropping Ampadu. I do hear it, people, but this is the problem that we have again. We're always going to have, with this squad, we're always going to have at least 2 or 3 underperformers that will have to keep their spots. That's just the way it is. It doesn't matter who you take out. You're always going to leave in someone where you go, yeah, but they were poor in the last game. We've got no choice. That's the squad that we've got. That's how it is. So I absolutely get everybody's point. So okay, moving up to my front three. Here we go. I'm putting the man up front. I've already said it. We're not getting anything with Calvert-Lewin. Flick-ons, hold-up play, it's not doing anything. So when we do eventually get a chance, and I want it to fall for someone in this team, it's going to be Joel Peru. And the thing is, with Nonto coming in on the right, that there's that link with Bogle and Nonto already that works well. But also Peru and Nonto work well together. They've worked well previously in the championship, I should say. I would like to see them get a go in a game like this where Forest is still seeking, I think they're still seeking their first win under Sean Dyche, aren't they? I think they're still, you know what? Correct me on that if I'm wrong. But either way, they're still not getting going, and they're still below us in the table right here. They're still second from bottom. So why not give them something to think about when we do go forward, rather than just having that isolated forward up front? Brendan Aronson running around because he's tracking back, you know, doing something. You know, let's give them Okafor and Nonto. Let's give them something to think about, and let's have Peru in there to finish off the chances. Okay, that's me. That's what I would do. Now there'll be people that disagree. Okay, let me see. Let's go into the comments. Right. Yes, Peru can hit the target. He absolutely can. Peru is also not good enough in this formation. Stand by for Willie. What else are we saying here? Yeah, Elmi Gilhart is the top scorer in the championship. That's great. That's a championship, my man. That means nothing for us. Russ saying he likes it. Was that up to the strikers though, Russ? Yeah, Ampadu is a good captain. He is, absolutely. And Ryan here, I honestly think he starts the same team against Brighton. Yeah, there was concerns about DCO and his adductor. I know DCO put out some training pictures which would prove otherwise, but obviously we know the drill. If he's fit, he's going to play. I'm just saying now, I just throw it back to everybody else, man. If Peru had got 1 goal in 8 or 9, whatever it is at this point, you guys would be calling for Peru's head. You would. But for some reason, DCL flicks on the ball occasionally. It looks like he's running in treacle a lot of the time. He's getting a pass. Not a pass from me, man. Absolutely not. Vega saying here, Peru means you play from the back, so Pascal in back. Pascal in back. I don't know what you're trying to say there, Vega. And I'm not going to try and decipher it at this point. Oh, get in the house. Man, I feel like I haven't seen your name in a while. Oh, get. Why not give Harry a chance? Can't do any worse. Oh, get. This is another damning thing. You're not wrong. Harry Gray, we shouldn't even be talking about him. We should be leaving him around the first team, letting him play the under 21 games, and not even thinking about him at this point. But I'll be honest with you, I've thought about him as well. I've thought about that unpredictable factor, that drive, that just natural talent that he possesses that our other players don't. And I thought, would it be a bad shout? But the fact that we're even going there or even considering it is damning as well. It really is. What was that? Someone said someone's going to start. Oh, Darren here. He will start Okafor, Metcha, Brendan. Yeah, probably. If DCL isn't fit, by the way, I fully expect to see Metcha starting because on the basis that he always puts on Mecha over Peru anyway. Peru's played 4 games, regardless of starts, sub appearances. He's played 4 games in the Prem so far, people. So he is now, he's taken on the Mateo Joseph role of last season in the second half, where he is now the red-headed stepchild. Excuse me to all redheads. I love you all anyway. You know what I mean? It's all good. But yeah, at very least, have Peru over Mecha. Yeah, Maras saying here, massive issue here though, KG. No way is Farke going to drop his love child, Aronson. Yeah, probably the most obvious thing, isn't it, Russ? Yeah, he's not going to drop Brendan Aronson, is he? He's definitely not. But I'm just saying, we got to do something different. And listen, if he wants to include Brendan in the team, stick him in one of the midfield 3 places. That's probably where he'll get pushed off the ball a bit better, but at least it wouldn't be taking up a wing spot that is desperately needed at this point to be creative or be an outlet when we eventually do get the ball. Because at the moment, we're not getting any relief in that area away from home, especially. So if he had to do something, I would say put Brendan Aronson in the midfield and then make him like a hybrid 8-10. But again, look at what we're talking about, people. It honestly, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sucks having to talk like this. It sucks talking these options, man. Michael, oh, what are we saying here? John saying here, I'm liking KG starting 11. Yeah, thank you. Michael is saying Peru, he deserves his chance, and also to have the team set up to exploit his strengths. Yeah, just the thing is as well with Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, he's pressing from the front, but he isn't running around like dropping deep or anything like that. All the time. It's not like oh God, I'm having to say his name again, like Bamford. Bamford would drop very deep, wouldn't he? But Calvert-Lewin is just up there trying to hold it up and flick it on, but he's not flicking it onto anyone. And then when he does eventually get round, as we saw in that instance, what was it against Lewis Dunk? My God, he couldn't even get around Lewis Dunk. And Lewis Dunk has slowed down considerably over the last couple of years. At least with Peru, man, he's a gunman. He will at least try and shoot it on target and see what happens. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like someone said earlier, I think we're going to see the same team against Brighton again. Maybe the change will be Biel out, Pascal in, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Steve Aronson is only here for shirt sales in USA. Keith here just saying here, I worry about Peru's match fitness won't be there because he's been mistaken as Ramazan. Tremendous. And you know what? That's another point, though. Keith made a joke there, but he's actually got a point in there. What is Peru's match fitness like? I'm putting him in the starting lineup. How long is he going to last when he's barely played? It's not even like he goes around international football in the 2-week break. This is literally it for him. So I don't know how fit he is, but again, that's yeah. Anyway, let's go on to score predictions, people. Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up. And of course, anyway, put your score predictions and your lineup, what you would do or what you think Farke is going to do in the comments. And let's go with score predictions. I'm going to be real with you. I've said with a couple of results that I've hoped that the result would be good. I've got a bad feeling about tomorrow. And again, with everything, I hope I'm wrong. I just feel like with the way that Daesh has already got them defensively set up again after the whole Ange thing, I think if we fall behind, it's going to be difficult for us to get back in the game. I want to be wrong with this one, but I'm going for a Forest 1-0 win. That's what I'm thinking. I can't at this point, especially if it's the lineup that I think he's going to play. I don't know what kind of joy we're going to get out of it. Just going on the basis of all our away games so far, barring Wolves, they've literally scored no goals. So it's going to take something monumental, and we need. Let me just make it clear as you guys put your score predictions in. We need this tomorrow. This is not a must not lose. This is a must win. We've got. Let me just get the games up that we've got after this. Let me do that. Let me get the fixtures up. And if you haven't already, people, hit a like on the video. After Forest, people, this is us. After the international break resumes, and there will be content still coming during the international break, so stay locked in. Villa at home, Man City away, Chelsea at home, Liverpool at home, Brentford away, and Brentford have been good at home, so I've got to give them that. Palace at home, and Sunderland away. Do we have one before the year out? No, we go on the beginning of 2026, away at Liverpool and at home to Man United. Guys, we've got to win tomorrow. We've got to. All get saying here, heart win, head lose. Right. I've missed everyone's score predictions. So if you want to put them back in, put them back in. Jack saying here 3-0 Forest. We're an insipid team away from home. Yeah, I'll try and scroll back up a little because I just had to 2-0 Forest. Forest 2-0. Darren saying, I hope they prove me wrong, but this will be an easy win for Forest. I hope it, yeah, I hope it's not. And like I say as well, people, I'm aware we're going to lose games at this level. It's quite obvious, but there's ways of losing. And that one against Brighton was appalling. The game against Burnley was appalling. The loss, I'll give you an example. One of the best losses, that's a crazy way to say it, was against Tottenham. I don't think there's much more that we could have done with what we have against what Tottenham have. And I couldn't pull out any major faults overall, except for the statuesque defending. That's got to improve as well. When the cutbacks, even Farke mentioned that in the press conference as well, about the cutbacks not being monitored or tracked well enough. But that Tottenham game was like an acceptable loss where you go, what else could we have done? But Brighton away was atrocious. Hyru here, 2-0 Forest, not going to sugarcoat it. We're in trouble. Michael going 1-1. Mike saying he can't see us scoring. Has anyone got us winning? Have I missed one? There's usually always someone that says we're going to win. Mass said 3-0 Forest, Farke sacked. I highly doubt. Or Hank did 1-0 to Leeds. I'd take it, man. We're away though, Hank. Just letting you know. Actually, I think Hank's American, so he probably puts it the other way around. Yeah, 1-0. Got you, Hank. Darren saying if he rolls out the same players again, the result will be the same. Talking Boss is usually a homer. Yeah, 3-0 to Leeds. I'm going to say that. FV White going 4-0 to Leeds. Hey, man, what's going on here? Hey, I take it, though. I take it. Michael here saying no one thinks we will win reality. Well, let me just get the poll. Oh, God damn. Okay. Just on the poll. We'll end the poll here. Predictions: Forest win 49%, Leeds United win 28%, draw 22%. Wow. So yeah, okay. And Zai going 2-0. Oh, but talking Barca 3-0 Forest. Well, listen, we all hope we're wrong. I think that's very obvious and plain to see. I think we all hope that we are wrong tomorrow, but yeah, it's going to be tough. And by the way, for the second comments, I don't think that's going to happen, especially with us. I think at the end of this break, we will be above the bottom three. I don't think even if we were in the bottom three, the 49ers would sack Daniel Farke. So I don't see them sacking him with us being out of the bottom three. I could be wrong, but just going by their actions over the summer, and even with Russell Martin at Rangers, I know it's a different arm, but Parag is still involved with them. It took a lot for him to eventually sack Russell Martin. So I don't see them sacking Daniel Farke. But I hear it, man. I hear it. But Steve here going for a draw. Okay, listen, we're going to end it there, people. Like I say, like the video, drop your score predictions in the comments as well, people. Please do that. And put what you do with the lineup, because I know there's going to be a lot of people that won't like what I've done. But guys, I just feel like we got to do something different to connect the midfield and attack together. That's all it is for me with the options that we do have. So yeah, people, we'll end it there, and I will see you tomorrow after the game. Yeah, win, lose or draw, I will be here. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Peace out.